When I say that it's iterative, I think it's really important to say that qualitative work is iterative for a couple of reasons. One is because by recognizing that it's iterative, you acknowledge, it allows for reflexivity. It allows for you to acknowledge that you bring with you not just your own personal characteristics or your personal experiences, but you bring with you the baggage of your discipline or the ideas that you were trained in. As researchers, we're trained to think in particular ways. As an anthropologist, I was trained to think about culture. But someone coming from a political science perspective may have looked at the more formal political arrangements, and therefore their lens into the community would have been different. I think acknowledging the iterative nature asks you to really think carefully about the ideas that you're bringing with you, with the assumption that there are certain things they're going to reveal, and there are certain gaps that they're maybe in fact going to silence. So I wanted, one thing to note is that ultimately Marxist feminism was useful because it reminded me to pay attention to women's work. And I was able to then document the amount of unpaid volunteer labor that went into making the Women's Center work really well. At the same time, it didn't allow me to understand certain gender norms, for example. What do I do? What kind of strategies exist that make sure that I don't allow that theory to overdetermine the research experience? One of the ways I think about it is, first of all, and as an anthropologist, I think that there were elements of participant observation that always asked the researcher to try to capture, understand, make sense of the way participants understood their lives and their experiences. So there was a built-in component to participant observation itself that that very much directed me to listen and to learn and to engage in some dialogical process. Secondly, there was a feminist approach to it. So the feminist approach was one that took that even a step further, that directed me as a researcher to think about women as fully, complicated people who are perfectly capable of making sense of their own lives and organizing themselves politically. And so understanding that is a way of kind of a built-in check to your theoretical perspective. At the same time, there's other things that happen in a fieldwork setting that is really important for challenging some of your theoretical assumptions. And that is that when you're working with, in this case it was a group of women, they begin to tell you what's important. So the process of participation itself is one where it's a negotiation, where if they, in this case, they wanted me to do this, and so they directed me to pay greater attention to gender-based violence because it's something that they wanted to have documented. So sometimes the strategies are built into the research process itself, and you find yourself as you engage with different members of the community that you begin to think critically about some of the ideas that you came with in the first place.